And then Chair Brown, we do have a quorum and enough commissioners present and voting. And so at 3 o'clock, and when you're ready, you can begin.
Very good. Call the roll, Mike, please.
I'll start with Chair Brown.
Don Brown, voting remotely from Mount Clemens, Michigan, Macomb County.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Voting remotely from East Point, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Romano.
Commissioner Romano, District 4, Sterling Heights, present and participating remotely in Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Kraft.
Commissioner Phil Kraft, attending remotely from Chesterfield Township, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Wallace. And I see Commissioner Wallace is joining, so we'll come back. Commissioner Song.
Commissioner Song, attending remotely from Warren, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Commissioner Van Sickle, attending remotely, Sterling Heights, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Zinner.
Commissioner Zinner, attending remotely from Harrison Township, Michigan, Macomb County.
Commissioner Matuzik. Commissioner Farrington.
Commissioner Farrington, remote from Utica, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Sabatini.
Commissioner Sabatini, attending remotely from Mount Clemens, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Nard.
Commissioner Nard, voting remotely from Warren, Macomb County, Michigan.
And that completes the roll. Chair Brown, you're muted.
We'll call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I need an motion to adopt the agenda.
Moved by Kleinfeld.
Motion by Romano to adopt the agenda.
Motion by Kleinfeld, supported by Romano. All those, please vote.
That motion passes unanimously.
Very good. Item number 4 is approval of the minutes. The minutes dated from March 3rd, 2021. I need a motion on that, please.
Motion to approve by Nard.
Second, Van Sickle.
Motion been made by Nard and supported by Commissioner Van Sickle. All those in favor, please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 5 is public participation. Public participation, you have 5 minutes to speak on any item on the agenda. At the end of the agenda, there'll be another section for public participation where you can speak on any item you wish. Vulgar language and disrespectful conduct directed at individuals will not be allowed. Staff, is there anyone on the line that wishes to be heard? If you're on the phone, you have to press *6 to unmute yourself so that you can speak to us. Anyone on public participation wish to be heard?
Chair, we do not have anyone in the chat box either.
All right, thank you. Anyone else under public participation on the phone? You have to press *6 to unmute yourself so we can hear you. One more time, anyone on the public, anyone on the line that wishes to be heard? Okay. We'll close public participation. There'll be another public participation at the end of the meeting. Item 6 is appointment interviews. First item is 6A. These are interviews. Only give commissioners the opportunity to hear from the people that are being nominated and you'd ask questions of them. And then this will be acted upon on the full board meeting later this month. So With that, item 6A is the Ethics Board. We have an executive appointment of the for the Ethics Board. It's an executive appointment. Ann Roscoe is here. Is Ann, are you available? Do you know if Ann is here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Ann. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and you're interested in this position, and go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon to the Government Oversight Committee Chairman and members, the commissioners of the Board of Commissioners. Thank you for the interview opportunity and to introduce myself to you. I'm a lifelong resident of Macomb County. My family and I have lived in Clinton Township for 20 years. I graduated from Macomb College and Wayne State University and obtained professional certifications from Mott Community College and Oakland University. I studied pre-law program and majored in political science honors, was accepted to U of D School of Law. My career in human services has begun working in grant-funded workforce development programs for local government and educational institutions. Some of the highlights from serving as a program coordinator for the Juvenile Employment Education Program for the District Court Juvenile Division and the Juvenile Justice Center were being able to connect hundreds of our youth with job skill training and thousands in scholarship resources so they could pursue college education goals, and the NACO Achievement Award won by our program. Over the course of my professional career, I have functioned in these capacities within secondary and post-secondary education, district court, government agency settings, and I have additionally worked for private businesses in public relations and performing arts as well. Currently, I am the college and career navigator for Utica Community Schools Community Education Program, and I'm pursuing an administrative position as the District Career Development Coordinator. Concerning my desire to serve on the Ethics Board, it has always been my intention to serve in civic capacities to make a contribution as an involved citizen. And when I became aware of the vacant position on the Ethics Board, I quickly applied. I am drawn to this role in particular because I believe it is important to have methods in place to address and resolve ethical issues that arise, thereby strengthening the trust that has been placed in our government and our officials. By participating on the Ethics Board, I would take seriously the task of safeguarding our county resources and work diligently to reinforce the efforts of the county departments in their vigilance against abuse of assets or misuse of roles of responsibility. And to that end, I'm able to use my current technological skills to perform the duties of the Ethics Board member and participate in meetings virtually and interact with involved parties as instructed. And I would employ logical and methodical research abilities from my legal background when asked to uncover facts and clarify details on matters before the board. And when necessary, I would use the experience that I've attained from coordinating managing programs to interpret and apply government regulations and policies. And I help identify courses of action and resolutions. And further, I would use substantial experience gained in the decades of training and education to assist with informing, providing guidance and understanding, and monitoring compliance with the county's ethics standards. It has been my pleasure to provide you with this information about myself, and I look forward to taking part in the Ethics Board if approved by the committee and the Board of Commissioners. I would also be happy to answer any of your questions, and thank you again.
Thank you for offering to serve us as a board and the county as a whole. Anyone wish to? I have no questions of you. Any questions from the commissioners? I don't see any speakers in the queue.
Chair, Commissioner Romano.
Please go ahead, Commissioner Romano.
Good afternoon, Ms. Resco.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
That's quite a resume and a bio, but I will take the initiative here. And this is an executive appointment with board concurrence, and I'll make a motion to move this to full board.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there support for that?
Second by Farrington.
Thank you. Been motion moved and supported.
It's actually, I'm sorry, Chair, it's a
receiving file, technically, yes. So that motion, we'll hold that motion in advance until the other applicants are interviewed. Any other questions for the applicant? Well, thank you very much, Ann. We appreciate your time today, and this board of action will be be finalized at our full board meeting later this month. So thank you very much for your time, and you have a pleasant day.
You're most welcome. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Next item is the Macomb Arts Authority. This is a chair by my appointment, a board chair appointment. We have Ed Bruley applying for being appointed for a 1-year vacancy, a 2-year vacancy, expires April 30th of 2023. Mr. Bruley, the floor is yours to tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in this, and please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Greetings to all those who I know, and greetings to those people who I'm meeting for the first time. I've been on the Arts Authority Board for the past 3 years as an appointment from the former chair. Our responsibility on the Arts Authority Board is to look after the tax-funded money that goes to the DIA. We also have the responsibility to negotiate a service agreement on behalf of the county, especially in light of our students and our seniors and our families. And so we make sure each year that the agreement is fulfilled on the part of the DIA to the citizens of the county. We will be entering into a new agreement that we will negotiate in the year coming ahead, which is one of the reasons that I would like to be reappointed to the board. I think I've gained experience necessary to be able to use that experience to stand up for the citizens of the county, especially in the area of students. I sat on the Mount Clemens School Board for 8 years, and I was a past county commissioner, and I understand those levels of government and how they interact. And as the DIA went from a private organization to becoming partially publicly funded, there are new agreements that need to happen in that light. And we as a board work cooperatively to try and make that happen in a positive fashion. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bruley. Appreciate the information. Is there anyone that wishes to speak or ask any questions of Ed? I've known Ed for many years. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Chair, if you check the agenda details, we're starting to line up. This is sort of it might be a sensitive question. Is there turmoil right now taking place with the bigger DIA board that you can speak to?
Right. This is a sensitive topic, and it is current. We as an arts authority are only empowered to negotiate the contracts and make sure our service agreements are fulfilled. We do choose 2 people to be on the greater DIA board. So we as a board don't have any jurisdiction to participate in the governance of the institution. We can only do that through the appointment of 2 individuals or suggesting names of other people who we think should go through the DIA process of being appointed to the board. So I am very sensitive to that role, and saying anything could not, we negotiate with whoever the DIA board presents to us. And it's not our responsibility or authority to be able to suggest who that is. Privately, I may have concerns, but those are private concerns since I am a member, and I don't want to go beyond my authority as a board member.
That's fine. That's why I asked if it was a sensitive question to begin with. And I can talk. Yes, I can talk to you personally at a later date, just to kind of get a feel of what's going on. I have no problem with you not being comfortable answering it. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld. Commissioners, I don't have the details button that I'm familiar with, the click that shows the list of speakers for some reason isn't popping up on this agenda item. So please feel free to speak up, whoever is next. Anyone else on the list
Thank
after
you.
Commissioner Kleinfeld?
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Barbara.
Mr. I forget, who am I talking to? I can't see
Ed
the
Bruley.
name. Mr. Bruley, I'm sorry. Do you have an expectation of increased desired cost from the county in a year from now? Is that a possibility?
No, the millage that was passed is for a 10-year period of time. So what we want to try and do is look for stability in the programs and services that are coming to our citizens. They've gone virtual, but we hope at the appropriate time to reintegrate student trips, senior trips, and other kinds of services to the citizens of our county. And our job is to make sure that the numbers and those programs and agreements are followed.
Thank you, Commissioner. You have any more questions, Commissioner? Okay, Mike, who's next?
There are no other speakers.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you, Ed, for coming out. We appreciate that. You've got a challenging job down there, and we're glad you're there. You understand the background of the county and the fiduciary responsibilities we take very seriously at this board, and making sure that things are done frugally as well. And so,
absolutely,
I'm glad you've accepted to be reappointed, given your experience. It's important, and we need experienced people down there, given what's happening at the DAA presently. And so I'm glad you're there, and I'm glad you've accepted the position. So thank you. The motion's been made to receive and file this. Can we please vote for that?
That motion to receive and file the appointments passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kindness.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next item is the Department Recommendations number 7. We have an update on the Ethics Board rules and procedures that was received. This is a lengthy document. It has been reworked by our independent, our corporation counsel and commissioners. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this subject? Any comments? This is a work in progress, and we could, if there are no issues with it, we could move to send this to full board for approval. But if there's comments and needs for additional discussion or review, we could note those now and refine them and bring them back to a future meeting. So,
Chair Brown, we do have Commissioner Sabatini on the list.
very good. Thank you, Commissioner Sabatini. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a couple questions in regards to the procedures, and I was just wondering if Corporation Counsel is present.
I believe he is.
Yes, I am here.
Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Good. Just a quick question, actually two questions. The first one is in regards to Appendix A. And I know this is a work in progress, so just the formatting of that appendix looks off to me. And I don't know if that's been identified yet or discussed.
Let me pull it up here on my screen. New final.
And this was on the download for the board agenda for today. So if it's been changed already, that's fine.
Well, there are 3 appendixes. I just want to make sure I was talking about the right one. This is the summary of all of the due dates and deadlines. Is that the one that you're referring to?
Appendix A, summary of timing considerations.
Yeah. This is a quick reference. It's really for the ethics board's convenience. Quick reference to all the due dates, all of the time frames that they have to do something by. There's a reference to the actual portion, the paragraph, subparagraph, the rules themselves. It's sort of acts as an index. It is not the rules. It's just a kind of summary of the rules.
Okay.
For instance, I'm just pick one out here. The investigation. the ethics board receives a complaint. They believe it states a claim. There is probable cause to believe something bad happened. They initiate their investigation. How long do they have to complete the investigation? Well, they can either paw through the rules or they can look at this quick reference. Investigation conducted complete 60 days after the probable cause determination. If you want to see the actual rule, it's paragraph 7, subparagraph G. That's how it's intended to work. It's just a quick reference for them.
Got it. Okay, great. Next question I have is in regards to the flow chart, Appendix C.
Yes.
So can you just kind of take me through, because it's just so I'm understanding here, the first portion of it where, you know, the review for summary disposition, if it's a no, it goes complete dismissed, notify complainant and ethics board, and then the board can then overturn that dismissal?
Yeah, the dismissal for failure to state a claim based on lack of subject matter or personal jurisdiction is made by the chair himself, just by the chairman. If the chairman is satisfied there is jurisdiction, there's no dismissal. If the chairman decides there is a lack of jurisdiction, he has to tell the rest of the board, and the rest of the board has a chance to look at it, and they can overturn that decision. It's a check and balance.
Okay. And that's exactly what I was trying to get to, if it was a check and balance. So that's
a check. Yeah, it's a check and balance. So the board chair cannot hide things, cannot just summarily dispose of them and never inform the rest of the board members. It is literally just a check and balance provision.
Okay, great. Thank you, John. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Sabatini. Who's next, Mike?
I don't have any other speakers, Chair Brown.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. I'll take a motion to forward this to full board for approval.
Moved by Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld. Supported by who?
Supported by Romano.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Thank you to the commissioners involved with this, and we'll take a look at this at a full board again. So if you have any questions about this, you reviewed it, and you have other questions, we still have another opportunity to review that and make corrections if necessary at the full board. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shep, for being present for this subject too. Next item is resolutions number 8. Resolution condemning hate crimes and offered by Commissioner Mai. I need a motion to send this to full board for approval.
Commissioner Saul makes the motion.
Thank you. Is there support?
Motion by Wallace.
Moved by Commissioner Wallace. Any discussion on this item? I don't see anybody.
Chair Brown, we actually have Commissioner Song and then Commissioner Zinner on deck.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Commissioner Song, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Last year in March, at the start of the pandemic, a Warren resident and Korean American was harassed at the grocery store while shopping for food. A woman standing behind him said, "I'd hate to be Asian right now." Last February, a woman walked into my clothing store and asked if I had been to China lately because she was afraid that the package she ordered from a third-party vendor and was shipped from China would possibly have the virus on it. Elsewhere in Michigan, a customer told an Asian American man working at the store that he didn't belong here and to take the virus back to China. In March of this year, 8 people were shot in Atlanta. 6 were Asian women. And even though officials say this was not a hate crime, Asian American women across the country woke up the next morning feeling horrified, scared, and sad. While other incidences of hate crimes have decreased 6% during the pandemic, hate crimes against Asian Americans have surged 145%. And Asian women have filed 2 times more reports than men. Asian American women should not be fearful about what public spaces are safe for us. We should not have to worry about our elderly parents or grandparents being attacked just for walking down the street, or worry about sending our children to school for the potential of being bullied. Asian Americans are being targeted for no reason other than their race, our race. So to my colleagues on the Board of Commissioners, by passing this resolution today, we stand up and condemn hate crimes against Asian Americans that have been taking place in our country for decades. We also joined Washtenaw, Wayne, and Oakland County Board of Commissioners in passing a resolution to condemn hate crimes against Asian Americans. Thank you for your leadership, and for State Senator Stephanie Chang and Representative Ranji Puri for passing a resolution in the Senate and the House. If you are targeted with a hate crime, report it to law enforcement or the Attorney General. If you experience racism or discrimination, report it to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Song. Commissioner Zinner.
In regard to this, I think that anyone who is hurt or attacked in any way should absolutely report that they've been attacked. And if they think they've had a hate crime, they should absolutely report that. But I think there's more to this than possibly you're realizing and many people realize. I'm not the only one who thinks the way I'm thinking and what I'm going to explain. There is a great attack on our American culture and way of life and belief system, whether it's Marxist, communist, or just an attackful, terrible group of people that want to take over the United States of America. But there has been an attack on Asians for, I would say, maybe going on 2 years. But there's also been attacks on other groups of people at different times. Praise God, right now we're not seeing policemen murdered, but there was a time period for that. We've seen other groups of people where they've had their attacks for them. There are now attacks on elderly where they're hit in the head, and other age groups. And they die from that. They're very hurt from that. And they might be in their other age groups too. It's more in the big cities, but it's happening all over the country. There's attacks of all kinds. And these groups of people who propagate this, they're very organized. And they try to manage people and put them into groups. There's this group, and there's this group, and there's this group, and another group, and another group. Then they whisper in their ears certain things, and this group now is mad at this group, and another group's mad at another group, and everybody's mad. Not everybody, but they have different anger areas. So what happens is the United States and Macomb County, being part of this, we're being divided as a people instead of being united as a people. So when we're in the public and when we're in business, you've been in business for I don't know how many years, my husband's family, and I've been in the public. Any number of people can say things and will say things that will hurt you, or they are misconstrued, or they don't understand. That's just life. That's just the way it is. And you have to have the thicker skin. So divided we will fall. And we have to learn to forgive. We have to learn to love more. And we have to unite together. That is the best way for our country and for our county. So I will vote for this, but I'm not voting for just for the Asian community. We really need to unite. That's what I'm voting for.
Thank you, Commissioner Zinner. Commissioner Van Sick.
Can I please respond to that?
Yes, you may, because board procedures are, if your name is used in a discussion with another commissioner, it gives you the right to speak, and we'll allow that. So please go ahead, Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Zinner, for your perspective. I appreciate it very much, and your support for the resolution. I want to reiterate that hate crimes against Asian Americans specifically have risen 145% since the pandemic. And so we would not be here today. I would not be bringing this resolution to you if that were not the case. While other cases against hate crimes against other ethnicities have decreased 6%. So I think it's important to understand that. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Song. Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. I'm in support of this resolution, but more so, I would prefer to see it a little broader because personally, I am against hate crimes against anybody. And I'm hesitant to narrow it down to one topic, one people's, because it may imply that we don't care about the rest of the people, the rest of the various ethnic groups that are out there. And I personally do not want to see hate crimes propagated against anybody. So I'd really like to see the resolution broadened, and while it could specify what it does now, I'd like to see it include maybe a footnote or a comment that while we're focusing on this group right now, we really condemn hate crimes against any group. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's see. I don't have any other speakers on the list to speak.
We actually have Commissioner Kleinfeld. Sorry, Chair Brown.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. There are hate crimes against all groups, and there are individual hate crimes against individual groups by other individuals who hate that particular group. But this is a sustained attack that is happening to a very high percentage of the Asian community. I don't know how many of you saw the Asian woman walking down the street the other day. It was at New York City, and a man just came up, threw her down and stomped on her and kicked her. And 3 doormen inside stood there and watched and closed the door. People are walking up to him, yelling at him about the Kung flu. They brought the virus over. They don't know if they've been to any parts of China. They don't know if they're Chinese. They're assuming every Asian person is exactly the same as every other Asian person. But more importantly, this is something that has specifically happened because there's been a political attack regarding where the pandemic came from. We don't need to debate that, but this is us as a board acknowledging to our Asian communities, we stand with you, and we don't think it's okay what's happening to you right now. And so there is a specific reason why this isn't broad, because this isn't happening to everybody else right now. People are being attacked on an individual basis, but this is much larger than that. And the percentage of Asians that are experiencing it is much larger than what's happening to everybody else right now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mike, is there anyone else on the list?
Yes, Chair Brown. We have Commissioner Romano and then Commissioner Matuzik.
All right, very good. Commissioner Romano, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. You know, I totally agree with Commissioner Kleinfeld, but if I think we'll all agree, there's a lot of nutcases here in the United States, not only the United States, all over the world. And if you look at some of these attacks, they're done by cowards. You don't see them attacking some Asian American that's probably 6'2" and maybe 220 pounds. No, they pick on a little old lady that can't even defend himself, or a little guy that can't defend themselves. They're nothing but nutcases, and that doesn't justify what's being done. It's a shame that we can't give more jail time or more criminal elements a harder time on what this is going on. And I agree with Commissioner Song that this is a specific proclamation I'm sorry, this is a specific proclamation, and it's for the Asian American people, and I'm totally in support of the proclamation, and I feel as strongly as she does, if not more so, because being Italian, I can imagine some of the stuff that she's gone through, as my ancestors have gone through when they first came in off the boat. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. Commissioner Matuzik.
Sorry, lost my cursor there for a moment. I'm speaking in favor of the resolution. Many of you may not know my daughter is Chinese by birth. I can tell you the stories she has faced since this pandemic has started. She refused to go back to work at the restaurant that she was working in when it opened. A very nice restaurant, not an Asian restaurant, not an ethnic restaurant at all, one by a well-known family in this community, because people refused to be served by her because she was Asian and they were sure had the virus. She has been in grocery stores where she has picked up a pepper to look at and put it back down, and someone else called over a manager and told them to take that pepper away because it's been contaminated because she touched it. So I take this very personally. I will further point out that the resolution involves the resolves of this revolution are simply aimed at our Asian American neighbors, encouraging them to report instances of racism that they have faced, that it acknowledges to them that the larger community supports them in reporting these things. So I am fully in support of this resolution, and I will honestly fail to understand how someone is not. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else, Michael?
We have Commissioner Zinner on the second round.
Go ahead, Commissioner Zinner.
I did not know that you have a daughter at all, so that tells you I'm behind. I'm not saying anything against that situation at all. I hate to hear these kind of stories. I had no idea. But I personally don't even know if China brought the virus here. I think it was propagated by certain people with a financial and different kind of an agenda myself. But I have a 74-year-old neighbor who's white, who was touching things before she realized she shouldn't be touching things without a bag or something on her hands. And people were yelling at her also. She just hadn't gotten the message. So she's not Asian looking at all. So I don't know. If people generally feel threatened and they're adults, I hope they're getting their CDL license so they can protect themselves. But I think it's just a shame. And I hate to think of this happening in Macomb County as a regular rule. I wish we could address it as commissioners. I mean, really address it if it's a problem in Macomb County.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Matuzik. Although I wasn't named specifically, she was responding to a comment I made. I would like to respond. Please. I would hope that we as a group do not respond to instances of racism based on someone we know, but rather on the humanity of all the residents in our county that we represent, whether we have personal knowledge of them or not. That is how we deal with racism of all sorts, by projecting beyond ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else on the list on the first or second round, Michael?
I see Commissioner Nard has just joined.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. This is a very unfortunate situation. And as a Black woman with 19 Black grandsons, I understand racism all too well for many years. And I think, and Commissioner Zimmer can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that she's against what's being said in this resolution. I think what she's saying and what I feel also is that any act of racism and violence needs to be addressed as a whole by the board. And we don't want to just separate one group, because it's tragic in every way. I have stories I could tell that's very horrifying, what my family had endured in the South, watching my great grandmother being hung because she bought her own home. And but we don't have any ill will towards anybody, because those people are the ones that done that, not the people that I interact with today. I have all races of people in my family. I'm part Irish, 50% Irish, 50% Black. So so I understand that racism is just, I would like to see just a little more language showing that, letting people know that any act of violence, any ill words or anything being said needs to not be done. And we do support our Asian brothers and sisters, as well as anybody that's being targeted because of their color, their race, or their origin. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nard. Any other speakers, Mike?
Yes, Commissioner Song on the second round.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. You can support this resolution and support other causes as well. This does not take away from the hate crimes or racism against other races. So I appreciate all of your support. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't believe there's any other speakers. Is that correct, Mike?
Correct, Chair. I'll prop the vote.
Very good. Yeah, please go ahead. We'll vote to send this to full board.
Chair, I got shut down for a second. I vote yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Recording Commissioner Kleinfeld, that motion passes 11-0.
All right, very good. Thank you. Item 9 is proclamations. We have 2 proclamations. One offering a remembrance of Police Chief Fred Postovitz in Clinton Township, and Proclamation B proclaiming a Macomb County Emergency Management COVID team for their efforts on the pandemic. Let's take these separately, if you will. I need a motion on item A for Chief Postovitz.
Motion by Nard.
Support Matuzik.
Very good. Supported by a motion made by Matuzik, supported by Nard. Any discussion on this? Please vote. Very good.
That motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 9B, a proclamation commending the Macomb County Emergency Management COVID-19 team on their efforts for the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'll make that
motion.
Commissioner Romano will make that motion.
All right, Commissioner Romano's moved.
Support Van Sickle.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano, you want to speak to this?
If I may, Chair,
Please.
I think I would ask the board to please bear with me. I think they've done such a fine job that I honestly feel that the proclamation itself should be read. And if you would bear with me, I will read it. And it says, whereas the COVID-19 pandemic, also known as the coronavirus pandemic, is an ongoing global pandemic of coronavirus disease 219 COVID-19, caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 SARS-CoV-2, and whereas the World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on January 30th, 2020, and later a pandemic on March 11th, 2020, and has resulted in significant global social and economic disruption. And whereas the Macomb County Emergency Management Team supports and enhances county preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery capabilities through the facilitation and cooperation of activities and resources for first responder communities and citizens in order to provide a safe and secure community. And whereas from the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic and into the present day, the Macomb County Emergency Managed COVID-19 team has provided county citizens and employees with the knowledge, constantly changing data, and up-to-date resources to be able to safely navigate life through such significant historical events. And whereas the Macomb County Emergency Management COVID-19 team has been a vital asset to the Macomb County community with their exceptional abilities in preparedness and through the promotion of the necessary training for county first responders to enhance their abilities to detect, prevent, deter, respond to, and recover from emergencies, including the unique challenges brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the essential function of the Macomb County Emergency Management COVID-19 team has been an excellent resource for all Macomb County residents and employees to receive communications from local, state, and federal authorities regarding emergency orders, health and safety guidelines, as well as testing and vaccine information in the most timely manner. And whereas Macomb County residents have benefited immensely from the specialized knowledge and skills of each of the highly trained individuals who make up the Macomb County Emergency Management COVID-19 team through their selfless efforts and actions around the clock. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Macomb County Board of Commissioners, speaking for and behalf of all county citizens as follows, that these present, the Macomb County Board of Commissioners hereby publicly recognize, acknowledge, and commends the Macomb County Emergency Management COVID-19 team on their tireless efforts for Macomb County employees and residents during the COVID-19 pandemic. Be it further resolved that a suitable copy of this proclamation be presented to the Macomb County Emergency Management COVID-19 team in testimony of the high esteem which they are held by the Macomb County Board of Commissioners. And the only thing I'd like to add to that, if I may, Chair, is, this is just a very, very small token of the tireless work that Vicki Wolberg and her whole team does for our residents. And I just wanted to show her how much we and myself and the entire board appreciate what they do. Thank you. And I think our vote is up.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano, for the resolution encapsulates a lot, and it is a small thank you. We just passed a year mark, a year anniversary on this COVID battle we've been dealing with, and thanks to our outstanding staff and professional staff at every level, they've risen to the occasion remarkably well, and as we now getting to, they've exhibited such leadership, and we're seeing now more vaccine into the system, more outreach going on. The ability to work cooperatively with the board, with all levels of government across the counties is remarkable. And it's an example of one team, one mission, and we're all working together to try to help combat this epidemic as best we can. And we're very grateful, and we can't say it enough. Vicki Wolberg, you're here, I believe. Did you want to say anything?
Yes, thanks, Chair. There are a few of us that are on the call when we saw this on the agenda. We were surprised, obviously didn't expect it or know that it was coming, but like to thank Commissioner Romano for taking the time to do this and introduce it, and for the rest of the board supporting it. And that it's obviously it's a lot of work that we've all done through the COVID team, and then obviously through all the staff. Every department has been involved in this process and done some part with COVID. And so there are a lot of people that are a part of this, and a lot of people to thank, and that we can get the message down. But we really just want to thank you for your continued support. Many of you reach out, you have questions, you have ideas, you're doing outreach in your communities for us. You bring that back to us. And some of that saves us time and energy and effort, because we're able to then more easily follow up on those areas. And we just want all of that to continue. And we will look forward to continuing to work with the board and our other departments and the community as we continue to fight COVID. And hopefully we will see a resolution soon, sometimes yet maybe this year for that. But again, on behalf of the COVID team and all the other staff, thank you very much for taking the time to do this, and Commissioner Romano, especially for reading it. That was quite a mouthful to read out loud. So thank you all very much.
We have commissioners that want to say a few words. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
I'm sorry, Chair. I think I'm going to pass to full board. I because it's going to be a little awkward because it's going to come back up at full board.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Anyone else that wants to speak now, though, you have an opportunity. Okay. Well, very good. Mike, if you please call a vote, we'll send this to full board.
That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicki, and your whole team that's on the call, and good luck, and we'll see you down the road.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Next item is new business. We're going to have an executive session following this portion, but we're going to have new business now. Is there any new business before the commission? Any commissioners wish to be heard on any subject? Michael, is there anyone on the list?
Yes, I have Commissioner Van Sickle and then Commissioner Kleinfeld after.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. After our meeting last week, I had a chance to review the emergency proclamation by the Mayor of Mount Clemens. And it specifies Mount Clemens boards, commissions, and city council. It really didn't specify anything on the county. I was wondering if we should have legal look at that and see whether our legal department feels that it actually covers our meetings to be virtual.
We'll do that, and we'll have that at the next meeting that we meet at.
Thank you, Chair.
Excuse me, Chair. This is Patty.
Yes, Patty.
Commissioner Van Sickle, Corporation Counsel, Mr. Shapka did review that and provided an opinion in favor of observing the emergency declaration. So that has been accomplished.
Thank you. I wasn't aware of that.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you. Also, piggybacking on that, I had a discussion with Executive Hackle yesterday regarding us doing and calling an emergency. There are differing opinions, but he believes because this is a county executive form of government with a charter, which is different than Wayne County and a lot of these counties that have called emergencies for the purpose of holding these meetings, that if he declared an emergency, it would not just apply to our meetings, it would apply to everything, which means we would not be approving contracts, we wouldn't be approving purchases and things like that, which is why he had not done it. He said if we wanted to have one called, if we did a resolution, he would honor it, but it would change what we're voting for. So different people are reading it differently, but because that is the way that he's reading it, that is, and it is certainly his prerogative to make the call. I do think that we should take that into consideration. And in light of the fact that we do fall under Mount Clemens, I think we don't want to push the county to do one and then we're not voting on anything. So I told him that I would share with you where he was coming from with regard to us being a county exec form of government, which there are only a few in the state, and also being a charter form, which there may only be 2 or 3 of us. So just wanted to share that with everybody while everybody's considering whether or not they want to do a resolution, because I'm backing off of the idea because of that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld, for sharing that information with us. We appreciate it. Anybody else under new business?
We have Commissioner Zinner and then Commissioner Wallace.
Okay, Commissioner Zinner, please go ahead.
I know that Vicki is still here, but I don't really want you to answer this or respond to this. This is your day to be happy, happy, happy. And I don't really want you to do any business about this. This is new business for us. And, you know, we're very proud of you and all of your whole group there. You've done a marvelous job. I've organized many, many things in my life, but I've never taken on anything that big before. But I spoke with Andrew Cox the other day, and I asked him how close was it getting to people who were not vaccinated, and how it was going to affect them in the county. And he said, well, we don't have anything like that at this time. I said, I understand. I said, I think it's coming in the country. And he said, well, that hasn't happened yet either, but we dropped it there. Now, the airplanes are, certain companies are requiring certain validation for their flights. Those are private businesses. And I heard that Oakland community colleges have to, some of the schools are requiring vaccinations before these kids go into class. For people who want the vaccinations, that's their choice. But there are a lot of people, and our residents in Macomb County, who don't want them. They're concerned about what that injection has, and they don't want it in their body. So that is a factor. And there was something on our COVID thing that came through about the vaccinated people with their quarantine and not vaccinated people. And I know I saw a company, it was a workout company, I don't remember the name, out east, that is concerned about people being in their building working out. If they've been vaccinated, their lawyers have drawn up something that says until that's drafted through 2023, they do not want anyone vaccinated in their building because of the shedding. Now, I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you. I mean, I read about shedding. I understand that. Who knows? I mean, really, the things seem to change month to month on things, on different, whatever's right one time may not be changing at another time. But there's 30 to 40% of Macomb County citizens that really do not want the vaccination. Some of them may change. It may go down to 20 or 25%. I don't know what it's going to be at, but we still have a free society, I believe. So it is a concern for many of our citizens, and private business is one thing, but government facilities and government entities, I think, are a concern for us to be aware of and consider what we can do for that, or what can be done about it in the future. And again, I really don't want you to talk about it today, Vicki. This is your guys' time to have a happy day. This is a do business for us.
Thank you, Commissioner Zinner. Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to thank Commissioner Fuzek for going to Greater Morning Star this past Friday on behalf of both of us, and for presenting them with a tribute. They have been in the community for 100 years, and they are set to our community. So thank you, Commissioner Matu, for that. And to thank the department and the for setting up the vaccination day at Greater Morning Star once again this upcoming Saturday, and just for people to getting aided and coming to us, which has been so helpful. So I'm on vacation. To show your face, that would be great. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wallace. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you being here for us. Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. I think getting back to what Commissioner Kleinfeld said, and I'm in total agreement with her, I do not want to give up our legislative right, which is approving contracts and everything else. And as the executive has said, if we want a declaration of an emergency situation, he will do so. We lose our legislative power. I don't want that to happen. I was at the board office yesterday. They have protocol in order as far as side view plastic containers, plastic shields for our faces, masks, sanitation, distancing, 6-foot distancing for anybody that wants to speak at our meeting. I mean, all the protocol is in there. So for us to allow the executive, which he will do if that's what we want him to do, to order an emergency as far as the county is concerned, I think we should give a real serious thought for us to say, go ahead, executive, and do that. And now we've lost our legislative power to either approve contracts, deny contracts, or do anything on our end. So, Ms. Kleinfeld, as much as you and I disagree on this subject, I'm in total agreement with you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. Next is Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to respond to Commissioner Zinner in regards to the schools requiring vaccinations. There have been only talks about vaccinations in a higher education setting, so colleges, but as far as like public schools, there really has not been any decision. So I think it's kind of misleading to state that all schools are requiring students to be vaccinated. Obviously, it's up to everybody to decide what's best for them. So I just want to put that out there. And also thank you to Commissioner Kleinfeld for relaying that update from County Executive to us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other commissioner of any new business?
Commissioner Kraft.
Commissioner Kraft, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I'm the last one, so I guess I'm gonna kick this off by saying farewell to Patty, our Chief of Staff. Today is her official last day. Thank you to Commissioner Zinner and Chair Brown for giving her the cupcakes. Patty, the sweetest one was from me. I'm really going to miss you. It's been a great 4+ years having you as my Chief of Staff and the board's Chief of Staff. I've gotten to know you very well. And I can't say enough positive things about you and what you've done for this body since I have been serving. You've been a fantastic asset to this board over the years. I know you've served, with 26 commissioners and now 13 commissioners. And I just very briefly wanted to thank you. And I can't express how much you will be missed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We all echo those sentiments. Patty was with me a long 15 years ago when she came on the board, and that position really was needed a lot of housekeeping, let's say. And Patty came in, and she's like the mom of the board. She really, she's made sure that we've all had what we've needed to get done, and she provides us so many benefits through the years, just to reach out to us. Good for our constituents, the pleasant voice on the phone, a voice of reason, calming us down when we got issues we find out about sometimes at the last minute. And she's got the answer. She's the answer person for many of us. And she's truly been a joy to work with her. And it's our loss and their gain, but we're very happy to have had you, and we're all better for it. Whole county is because of your management to help manage these meetings, especially during this last year of COVID. These Zoom meetings are something that's not easy to be managed. And the work that the staff does, all the staff does behind the scenes, is something else. It's really quite remarkable. But it takes a team, it takes a leader. And Patty, you've been the leader for a long time on the board, and managing things as we go along. And I said it earlier today, and I'll say it again publicly here, that you're to be missed. And I'm eternally grateful for all the work, and I'm glad to have known you. And we're going to stay in touch. So I don't want to monopolize the board's time here, but thank you, and carry on. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak?
We don't have anyone listed.
Just that I need some tissues, Chair Brown.
Yeah, well, okay. It's all right. I am a soft-hearted guy, but we won't.
No, I was serious. I'm serious.
Yeah, for sure. Well, she's a special person. There's no doubt about it. And she's weathered a lot of storms around here too. And she's almost a personal counsel to a lot of us when we have issues that we come along, and she's been there. So we appreciate you. So we're going to go there now. Patty, you can advise us on our next item, because we're going to be going after public participation. We're going to go to executive session. So I guess maybe we could tell them a little bit about that before we go to the next item.
Okay, and I did put my name in under public participation. So Patty Dibb, Chief of Staff for a little while longer at Macomb County, and I live in Fraser, Michigan. And I wanted to say it's been an honor to serve for these 15+ years, and it's always great. I do feel like the board is family. And, you know, sometimes I might mom you a little bit. It's true. And, but I wanted to assure you that the team, our board staff team, is well positioned to carry on. Everyone is cross-trained, as you know, and there is no I in team. So I'm reluctant to take credit for a lot of things because it's really a group effort. But it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for the cupcakes, 13 of them, and the generous gift. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all keep my phone number in your phone and don't block me or anything. And I hope that you use it. So it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to continuing to connect with you from across DeQuinder. And I'm still a resident here, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then as far as the closed session, when closed session begins, you will all receive an invitation on your screen. And it'll ask you if you want to join the closed session. And those of you who are supposed to be in it will receive that invitation. You'll join. And Commissioner Romano has some special instructions, but everyone else should just join from their screen.
Thank you, Patty, once again. Thank you. All right. Anyone else under public participation wish to be heard? You have 5 minutes to speak on any topic you wish on the board. If you're on the phone, you press *6 and that'll unmute you.
Chair, we have Henry Noonan on the line.
Please go ahead, Mr. Noonan.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to be witnessing such a well-functioning board. And that's a credit to each and every one of you, especially you, Mr. Don Brown. I hope Honorable Don Brown. I'm not quite sure how I should address you, but anyway. Yes, so I started about 4:04, I suppose, about 5 minutes or less. I think that it's very important that everybody know that Macomb County is safe for Asians. If anybody is known to not be safe in Macomb County, really, nobody is safe in Macomb County. I want the elderly to be safe. I want people of all complexions to be safe, all religions, all political parties. And some of the vitriolic commentary out in public is just so horrible. And then the times are tough. The COVID-19 protocols are hard for a lot of people to understand. The science obviously is not that easy to understand. And it seems like we in Macomb County may have more of a problem in that than maybe some other counties, and that our numbers have tended to be higher. As a school board trustee, that's very difficult for Centerline Public Schools to remain open. We'd like to be fully open. We know very well that student education and academic achievement is much better in a face-to-face environment. But if we can't have safety from the pandemic, then we won't have teachers to even teach the classes. That'll definitely limit it, whether we think that whether we care that much about our seniors as I do, or we care that much about children not getting sick and having permanent injuries from it. And on that note, I really believe that the county commission should be unanimous in recommending that everybody get vaccinated. It's nice to say, well, you have a right not to get vaccinated, but how about say we really encourage you to get vaccinated? Just a thought. Maybe you already have. I'm just coming in for this meeting. Hate to be Johnny come lately. Over the years, I've noticed that the Macomb County Commission has passed a lot of really good resolutions. And so I appreciate you all. And I'm under 5 minutes, and I think I better keep it that way. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your business meeting, your closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. We appreciate that. Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard under public participation? Staff, is there anyone in the chat box?
Chair, there is no one else in the chat box.
Is there anyone on the line that wishes to be heard? Please press *6 to unmute your phone, and you can have 5 minutes also. Anyone else? One more time for public participation. Anyone wish to be heard? Okay, we'll close that public participation. We need to go into executive session. Item number 12, a closed session. To closed session to discuss pending litigation, Nicholas Moore, PR estate of Kathy of Jemny Moore versus Macomb County, USDC case number 2-20-CV-11154. So we need a motion. Okay, have a motion to go into executive session or closed session?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Kraft, supported by Romano. Okay. I don't think people left the meeting, Phil. So we'll join the meeting and we'll do that after, I guess. All right, thank you.
I did just prompt the vote, Chair Brown.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. Thank you.
The vote.
That's very good. We needed a vote. Thank you. Glad Commissioner Kraft's here, still here. Very good. All right. We'll join this meeting. Thank you.
That motion passes 8-0.
Welcome back, Commissioners.
How many of us do we have?
Romano's in.
Should be all but one.
Yeah, I think so. We're all. Give me one. I don't know all the numbers are, but I think we're all here.
Missing Zinner.
Yeah, we are missing her. Who just joined us? Patty joined us. We missed everybody, but I think Zinner now. Is that right, Patty?
Yes, I closed the room, so all she needs to do is just join this meeting. But I'm not sure if that's going to be possible.
Okay. Well, let's we'll give her a minute, and then we'll call for the vote.
John,
Yes, I'm still here.
do you just want a motion to concur?
Yeah, motion to concur with my recommendation that we accept the facilitator's award.
Okay, thank you.
Is that your motion, Commissioner Kleinfeld?
I'll make that. Thank you.
Support by Farrington.
Support by Farrington. Please vote.
Romano gives a verbal vote of yes.
Thank you.
That motion passes 10-0.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Romano
to adjourn
makes
by
the motion
Maher.
to adjourn. Goodbye, Patty. We're going to miss you.
All those in favor of adjournment say aye. Oh, please vote. Sorry, go back old school. All right.
Romano verbally votes yes. And we're still going to miss you, Patty.
That motion passes 11-0.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioners, for the long meeting. We got business done. Thank you, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Have a good afternoon. Good night. Bye, Patty.
Bye, Patty.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, Patty.
Take care. Nice to sit down in a nice long meeting. Not like the old days when they used to be 5 hours.
Right.
Oh, man. Those are the days. I'm glad they're gone. The good old days weren't so good. Take care.